everyone. I hope everything is well in your part of the world and getting ready for Christmas, Hanukkah, Swanza. I hope that I have to just speak about this, that we aren't getting too caught up in the frenzy of spend, 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 and buy for the holidays. Okay, that's a PSA done and over with. All right, today we're going to be talking about blending your makeup, tips, tricks, techniques that will help you get a more flawless finish, more of a look of an airbrushed finish, and the tools and the products and how we'll do that is what's coming up. And of course, we'll continue with our questions and answers right after we finish with the main event. How do you like let me point this right, my hot chocolate for this morning instead of coffee. You know, it's digital. I'm going to be having my coffee. There's no two ways about that. Okay, let's get right into it now. So I just want to check to make sure that everything's working okay for comments and things, and it looks like it is. Good morning, Mary Ellen. Okay, so blending our makeup. It's all about the blend, and using the right tools is essential. But aside from the tools, the number one thing when you're working powder with powder, it's the same as when you're working creams with creams and liquids with liquids. When you're using eyeshadows and blush, and at this stage, and given the streamlined approach I like to take with this, I really like the powder, dual finish powder foundation, which is either the Barelle or the MAC. When you have a good layer of your foundation powder on, then anything that you add to it, whether it's eyeshadow or it's blush, you can blend it much, much easier than when you put it just straight onto the skin, because the oils in the skin need to be sealed off, and that's what happens when we have powders. When we put a powder over top of the oil, we can seal it off, and then our blush, our eyeshadows, and things of that nature are going to perform much better for us. The other thing that's really important is to have dedicated, clean brushes. Now, I don't believe that it's necessary to have a lot of them, but if you're at the stage where you're first learning how to put this all together, then having a dedicated brush probably is a kind of a good idea. And you just use it for that one thing. Like, let's take blush as an example. You have a brush to apply your blush, okay? And that's all you use that for, is just the blush. Now, as you move along, if you haven't loaded too much onto the brush, you can blend because you don't have a lot on the brush, okay? And you only want to just dip in like once, maybe twice, and then just apply it. And applying in circular motions will help to blend things better rather than going back and forth in a straight line, if that makes any sense. So going round in circles, much like life is sometimes, will help to blend as you go. The whole idea is to have no discernible lines in your eyeshadow, in your blush, in your contour, in your highlight, and at this stage of the game, in your upper and lower eyeliner. It's you want it blended more. When we were younger and our skins were tighter, that was a different story. We could do things differently than what we need to do today. Okay, so those are the only things. Now, the only things that you define are your brows and your lips. Especially at this stage, you want to make sure that your lips are defined, and that's why using a Maybelline or any other long wear lip color, that's my fave though. There's a few more coming out onto the market because it won't bleed or feather. Okay? You don't want blending here, that's for sure. You want this firm, you want it to stay put, and that sort of thing. But you certainly do want to blend this. You certainly do want to blend your contour, and you certainly do want to blend your eyeshadow and your eyeliner. Okay, so let's take a look at some brushes that could be used. Now, Again, I'm not about a lot. I'm about streamline. And if you can learn to use your brush that you're applying that particular thing with, you can use it also as a blending. But if you're learning, then these are some brushes that you might want to play with. This is kind of like a sort of a dome brush. You could use it for blush. You could use it for highlight, for even contour. This one is a little bit of a smaller brush, a little bit more detailed, but still kind of blending around eyeshadow and maybe details around the eyes with highlight and that sort of thing. And here is a smaller brush still. It's a little bit flatter. And that works for things like your eyeshadows, where you want them a little bit defined, but not too defined. You want them softened up. And here we have another sample of a shorter dome. It's not so long on the top, so you can get even a little bit more precision with that. And then we have another sort of like a crease brush. It's a dome brush that has been filtered down the sides. That is really good for doing the crease for those who still have a crease in their eye. That's good for that. And you can also use these brushes too to use as the makeup applicator. Now here's a kabuki brush, and these are really, really good for contouring the chin and that sort of thing. I use mine. I use my kabuki brush not only here, but I also use it down the sides of my nose. I just squeeze it, and because I've already got the stuff on the brush anyway, and it works just fine. But a kabuki brush is a handy one to have. And then we have another longer dome brush that is a little bit more flexible. So again, depending on what you're using it for, you might want to pick from any one of these brushes. Or, I'm going to reiterate again, if you're practiced, whatever brush you're applying your product with, you can also use that to blend. Okay, so I want to take a look at some examples of why blending is really important. So I'm going to show you first of all this set of eyes. Now, this is a kind of a good example of eyeshadow that has not been blended out. And of course the brows need to be groomed as well. And it's top heavy because there's nothing on the bottom, on the underside of the eye, so it's a little bit top heavy. So when we address the brows and remove the weight of the eyeshadow along the top and add more along the bottom, we have a much more balanced eye, and it has a streamlined natural drama to it. And this is where the blending of that eyeshadow makes a big difference. And again, this is where you want your finer detailed brush along the bottom to blend. And blending in this case would be going back and forth, not necessarily a rounded approach, not necessarily, but a blending back and forth. And what you can do too, if you find that you have a little bit too much on your brush, let's say in a case where you're blending, I can't point there. You've applied some eyeshadow right here, right? And let's say that you've put on too much. Well, then you can take another brush, or could be just a blending brush, dip into your dual finish powder and add some in, and then blend the two together so that you soften it up. Same thing with your blush. If you put your blush on and you've got sort of like your triangle sort of highlighter here blended, but you find that you've got kind of a harsh line here, you can add a little bit more of the highlighter over top of the blush and blend that in. And in fact, I'm going to show you an example of that right now. Here is an example of blush where you can see the lines. Do you see where the sort of the triangle underneath the eyes? And you can see at the side, you can see a line of blush. You don't want that. And if you'll notice too in this particular picture, by the way, how the lips aren't balanced at the bottom. They're a little fuller on one side than they are on the other. And then of course with the nose not being covered with the dark color that it has from the sun and hasn't had enough foundation applied to it, this just kind of, it looks like makeup has been kind of dropped on the face rather than blended out. So here's here's what it looks like when the nose has been covered with the foundation properly, the lips have been balanced out, and you can see where the blush has been blended with the highlight a lot more. That's a case where you would use sort of a rounded motion. And as far as how you blend, there is no strict rule about that. Everybody's dexterity and the way they use their hands is going to be a little bit different. So this is why practice is so important, because you find what works for you. Now, here's the thing. This is why selfies are so important. And I strongly suggest that if you're new to this or you're learning certain aspects of how to apply your makeup in certain parts of your face, I highly recommend doing it and take a selfie. And take a close-up selfie so that it's about like this. You don't want, a whole lot of ceiling or anything like that in the picture. You want it just close up and look straight into the camera lens. And just do that. Take your picture. Keep those pictures for reference and then take a look at it, because your selfie will tell you the truth. Every single time. Your selfie is the way the world sees you. When we look at ourselves in the mirror, we see a reversed image of ourselves. When we see our selfie, that's the way the world sees us, not the way we see ourselves in our mirror. So that can kind of change our perspective on a number of things. And what we may think we may have blended okay, the selfie will show that it hasn't. And always take a selfie in front of a window or a door or something where there's natural light. You don't want to have the sun straight on you, because then you'd have a blowout issue. But you want to have just natural light in front of you straight across, and do it in the same place every time. Then when you look at your selfie, you'll be able to see if you're blending correctly or not. If you see a line or anything like that, or you see a line here, or oftentimes what happens, I find, is the eyeliner on the bottom is something that women tend to put on, and a pencil is worse for this because it's harder. Don't use a gel liner, don't use a pencil, don't use any of that stuff, only use eyeshadow. Eyeshadow with kind of a domed flat brush is the best. Put it on and blend it, and you can go back and forth. Now, here's another thing. Sometimes you can put a little bit into the waterline of the eye in the outside corner so that you don't have a white look and then you've got this line of eyeshadow. You don't want a line of eyeshadow. You want a blended look of eyeshadow. And it's the same as that white look. If it's not covered in, it can look too white and it draws the eye. It's the same as when you curl your lashes on an older face and you've got your eyeliner and your mascara and everything else on, and you curl your lashes, you can see the white of the waterline at the top. If you don't put a gel liner in that to cover that over, to remove that whiteness, so to speak, or to camouflage it, then all you see is the whites of the eyes. I've shown this before, but Barbara Walters was famous for that in my mind, because all I ever saw was the whites of her waterline. Well, it's the same thing with the bottom. And when you're blending, this is so important with your eye makeup. And as we age, ladies, our lower liner becomes as important, if not more important, than our upper liner. And again, you want to go straight out with that. And when you're blending, you can blend straight out. You could use a dedicated flat angled brush. Maybe, you know how sometimes you buy a flat angled brush and it's a little bit thick. It's not really knife sharp. Those are really good for blending out. You don't want to apply with that. But for blending and smoothing and stretching, those are a perfect tool. So don't throw those away if you haven't already. Okay, so let's see now. In summary, it's pretty darn simple. Clean brush and size for the task. Shampoo your brushes every week or two. I am serious, ladies. You will get so much more performance out of them and you won't cake your powders. And how do you cake your powders? When you put your brush on your face, when you're applying a product, it picks up oils from your face. You put that into your pan, and over time, the pan becomes cakey. The powders in your pans should fly almost. If they're not flying, if they're hard, if you have to get in there with a knife or one of those things they use on sidewalks to break it up, then it's because your brushes have not been cleaned. I can't stress this strongly enough. Clean brushes every couple of weeks, and if you don't have a lot of brushes, which you don't need, it takes maybe 5 minutes to clean them, set them aside, and they'll dry and be ready for you in short order. Okay, the next thing is to make sure that you powder your face first. If you're using liquids and creams, then you want to use liquids and creams. Now, if you want to apply a powder blush, let's say, to a liquid makeup, you have got to seal that liquid makeup first. You've got to seal it. And that's why you always have to, it's a two-step thing when you use liquids or creams. You always have to seal either liquids or creams with a powder. I don't care what they say. It needs to be sealed. You can use a fixing powder. You can use just a regular powder, a translucent powder. But from my perspective, eliminate a step and just go for the dual finish powder that is foundation. Make sure you put that on, and then you're going to have, when you apply your makeup, it's going to stay. It's going to be much easier to blend it. If you put if you put a powder over a cream, it's just simply not going to blend. Okay, and then, of course, the golden rule is always blend, 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 blend. And if you think you got it, do one more blend. Everything. Blend it all except for your lips and your brows, and they need to be defined. And it's, again, circular motions are best for anything here, or contour, okay? I don't subscribe to contour on the face for the older femme fatale. It makes the face look too made up, makes it look muddy looking. It is not something, and bronzers go in the same category as contour on the face. No bronzer for the older face. It just looks too made up, and especially when you have gray hair, it is not the route to go. So here, and blend it with a kabuki brush or whatever. Your eyeliner, put it on, and then blend it with a finer brush. Just blend it across so that it's not harsh. Why? Because when we age, our eyes become more crepey. How many have ever had trouble putting on eyeliner and you've got these lines and things and you can't seem to get a smooth line? Don't go that route. Put it on and then blend it away. And it will always look good. It will always look good, and you won't need to be concerned with how do I try to get a straight line with my crepey eyes. So that's one of the reasons we go that route. Plus, it's a much softer look. And again, I can't make this strong enough. Right in here, the lower liner, blend, blend, blend away. And if you have deep set eyes, and I still can't make up my mind whether I have deep set or not, because my lids are, when I don't have any expression, and I'm sure this is true for a number of women, my lids are dropping down, but they haven't dropped down enough yet. So I'm continuing with this method. So again, this is really vital if you're doing this, to really blend this out. And again, only tap once, twice into the product, apply and blend it till you've got nothing left on the brush. That way you don't have to buy an extra brush. Tap into the product, apply and blend it, okay, until you get the depth and the intensity that you want. For those with the hooded eye, you apply the makeup, your shadow along the lash line, and then you blend it up and out. This is where the hooded eye works. You up and out. And you can go up here, but if you're going to put it in the corner, it needs to be very, very light. And the hooded eye is especially needs good blending. You want the darkest or the most intense look along the bottom, and then it gradiates on its way up and out, but more of the weight at the end of the eye rather than at the front of the eye. And again, drop, blend, 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 so there's nothing on the brush, tap, tap, drop, blend, 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 etc. Okay, so I hope that that helps. And now we're going to turn to our questions and see what people have to say. So good morning, Donna Higgins and Mary Ellen and Sydney and Margaret and Vicky and Mary Campus. And thank you, Mary. She says, I look nice. Thank you. It's all planned. You know that. Okay, so Sydney has a question here. So let's bring her up. Does the lipstick make your drips dry? Yeah, no, drip dries for clothes. Lips dry is what I'm trying to say here. You know the problem, right? Not enough caffeine. The lipstick does not make my lips dry if you're referring to the Maybelline. Here's the secret. Throw away chapstick and all those things. Do not put them close to your lips ever again. If you simply apply Vaseline to your lips nightly and to your cuticles, you'll never have a problem with dry lips again. Seriously. People who have taken the challenge to try it for a week every night, they say that their lips, they no longer dry. They love it. With the Maybelline, there is a balm at the other end. Let me see if I have one here handy for you. There is a balm at the other end. And you simply put that on. Now, what you can do is, throughout the day, if you feel like, you've been eating or drinking or talking a lot, you can simply, you don't even need a mirror, take the balm out, put it on, because even if you go over top of your lips, it won't matter because the lipstick underneath, the color underneath, doesn't move. So I hope that answers your question okay. And Janet Brown, hi, nice to see you. Margaret, what's the best liner for under eyes? Eyeshadow. I did a segment on eyeshadows a couple of weeks ago, and I believe I talked about it there. Just eyeshadow. There's only about 4 to 6 eyeshadows, and I think anybody only needs about 4 eyeshadows that will do everything for you that you need. You just apply it. Your eyeshadow on the bottom for your bottom liner should be a shade or 2 lighter. So here's an example. If you use Brun or a mixture of Brun and Carbon, or a mixture of Carbon and Print or Brun and Print for your eyeliner on the top, then just use Coquette on the bottom because it's a little bit lighter. Okay, you don't want it the same. You do not want black on the bottom. You do not want to go there. The darkest you should go is Brun. That's the darkest you should go, or Print. So flat-edged angled brush or a small detailed dome brush ought to do that for you just great. Okay. Good morning, Kaya girl. Janet Brown. Let's see. What is Janet to say? Yes, squeezing the brush to make it work. Streamlining. Yes, I often do that. And I think, I think some of you saw where I took a regular dome brush and I just cannot justify going out and buying any more brushes given that I've still got quite a stack here from my professional kit. So I just used an elastic band to tighten this down to make it very dense, because that's the one that I use in the corners of my eyes. I go around and it just pushes in really well. There's a lot of things you can do with your brushes when you when you think outside the box, so to speak. Okay, Ingrid from Italy. Interesting topics. Good. Glad you enjoy, Ingrid. Nice to see you here. And Anna C., good morning. Sydney Guerra, blending is important. Yes, absolutely it is. And Amma C., let's see. Will any brushes work, or do you have to buy experienced ones? I think you probably meant expensive ones. No, you don't. And that's why I recommend Crown Brush. You can buy those online. The pricing is really good. But here's the thing, ladies. Cheap isn't necessarily always good, and expensive isn't always necessarily good. You want to know your lines. I like to use, or used to use this analogy when I was teaching makeup in a couple of schools. You wouldn't go to a cardiologist who used a penknife instead of a scalpel, would you? Well, you want to get the best performance and the best looks for your makeup, then you've got to use the brushes that will perform for you. If all else fails, you can buy from MAC. You know, they're a little more expensive, but Quo brushes in Canada are pretty good. I like Crown brushes. You can buy them online, and I really recommend the travel brushes because they're short-handled, and for those of us who need to use a magnifying mirror, the short handle is better for you. And here's the thing. Once you have your brushes and you clean them regularly, they should last you for life. I have got some of my brushes that I still use. Some of them are 30 years old. And I don't see them wearing out, or, you know, they're probably gonna last another 10 years. Maybe even 20 if I'm still on the planet. But yeah, you take good care of them. You put them in a dedicated place. You keep them clean. They will wear really well. So if it's difficult to spend a lot of money at one time, and you don't have to spend a lot of money, buy one brush a month until you get what you need. And you only honestly, truly need about, I don't know, 6 or 7 brushes. That's about it, really. That's all you need. Excuse me. So I hope that answers your question. Let me see. Will any brush work, or do you have... Oh, sorry, you just answered that one. Sydney, I'm going to clean my brushes today. Good, Sydney. Glad to hear it. That's exactly right. Okay, Elaine, I use the Barelle on my eyes first and then wet and tap a straight angled brush when applying eyeshadow as eyeliner. Should I be using a dome brush instead? No, if you can get a smooth eyeliner, that's great. I'm really glad that you put the Barelle on first. And yes, and this is the thing with the eyeshadow powders too, ladies. You can wet them if you want to have more intensity. And if you want it to last a long time, you can use an eyeliner sealant, which is also good for brows where you have no hair and you need to paint on some little hair-like strokes. Use an eyeliner sealant, and it waterproofs and it will stay. So yes, you can put it on and then decide. Maybe if you can see if the line isn't smooth enough, Elaine, and this is where it gets to be a kind of a personal question. You can always add a little bit more shadow over top when it's dry, just to give it. You keep your intensity, but you just blend it out a little bit more. Okay, it's just a bit of a different look. And I think that, you know what? Try both eyes. Try one just the way you usually do it, and then the other eye, add a little bit more and blend it out a little bit. Then take a selfie and study it and decide which you like better. Okay. Cowboys are 8 panel. Good morning. And let's see. Off topic from Kaya Girl. I've never seen you wear red before. It's lovely, especially with your black glasses and silver hair. Well, thank you. I have worn it one other time. And I actually, when I think about it, I wore the same chopsticks and the same top, except this time I've reversed the top. I'm wearing it back to front. All the secret's out. I do that because the neckline is lower on this, and so for filming this, I wanted to see the red, so I just turned it around, and it's just a little t-shirt. But I'm wearing red because it's festive. It's the Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa season. Let me see. Robin, good morning. I'm enjoying your technique for the mature face. My former techniques are not working for me anymore. Thank you, Robin, for declaring that, because yes, what used to work, what was good at one time, isn't necessarily good anymore. It's just because our faces change so much, we really do need to adjust with our application, with our tools, and with the product that we use, so that we can continue to look our best at whatever stage we're at. You know, from 20 to 90, it just is a question of changing things up. And Kathleen Lavero, so nice to see you here too. Okay, and Cindy has a question. Can I use waterproof eyeliner on the top of the eye? I wouldn't. I wouldn't, because it most likely will be a liquid, and I don't like or recommend liquid liners for the 45 plus group. They're too intense, they're too heavy. But that's not to say, with the proper application of an eyeshadow with the right brush, you can still have your intensity and your drama, but in a softer way. It's a more natural, it's a more pleasing look than a harsh waterproof or liquid liner. I hope that answers your question okay. Let's see, Donna Higgins, loving the 24-hour Maybelline, doing pretty good with application. Excellent, Donna. Bravo. Good for you. Everyone, please remember to give this a video thumbs up, Mary Ellen. Thank you, Mary Ellen. Yes, one of my haters out there has already put a thumbs down, but you know, that's just life, isn't it, ladies? We all have somebody somewhere that doesn't think we're so terrific. And I have more than one, I can tell you that. Annie Lee, I have heavy brows that are drooping. Lining the brows, even with a light hand, looks clownish. What do I do? Well, first of all, Annie, you want to make sure that you're doing the correct shaping for your brows. And by the way, I'm working on a mashup of eyebrow applications. I've got a new video coming out in the new year about brows, and I'm showing both with a pictorial approach and a real-time video of how I do it. Here's the trick, Annie. Take a selfie. And I know that with some phones you can draw over top of the pictures. If you can't, if you can print it out or whatever, that would be great. Draw on a piece of paper first what you think your eyebrows should be doing, okay, and where they need to be going, because it's getting the shape right first that will absolutely affect the amount and the weight that you put on. Does that help at all? Lining, and the other thing is, here's the other thing. If you've got brows that are dark, like a brown or a black or something, you don't need to add brow powder to the hair that's already there. But if you have very light brows, they've lost their color and texture, then the eyeshadow will help to color that in. If you've got substantial brows that are there, then all you want to do is fill in the bare spots. Okay? And in your guidelines, you remove everything from above the top line and below the bottom line and fill in just the bare spots. So maybe that's it. I don't know what your eyebrows are like. And if they are drooping, which happens to many, the trick is you're going to have to bring them up, you know. And again, I'm going to show that in a video that's coming up in the new year. Hope that helps. Aaron Zook, what tool do you use to apply gel liner to the upper waterline? Any tips? Still practicing this. It can make my eyes water. Okay, there's a couple of things. One thing to think about is when you are applying that gel liner, you want to get it closer to the lash line than to the eyeball. Does that make sense? Aim for filling in between the lashes and directly underneath that. That will help. Number two, use a, let me see if I've got an example here of what I use that I can show you. Here, let me see, let me put it over in the black area. Here is a, whoops, it's really hard because I'm working in reverse. Here's a tiny dome brush. Now it looks big right now, but it's very tiny. I use that sometimes, and other times I use flat edged angle, you know, that's really precise. But currently what I'm using is not, and let me show you here. It's here somewhere. Currently, I've been doing this for some time now. I'm using the, what is it? Annabelle Smoothliner Gel Liner. Annabelle Smoothline Gel Liner. And this is, oh yeah, maybe I can show you right here what it looks like. Whoops. That's it. What I do is I heat this under the tap, under the hot water tap. I heat it so it kind of melts the pencil a little bit, because remember, together pencils are made of wax and gel in this case. So I soften it up, and then I simply apply it to my eye, and I make sure I go up in between the lashes. That's really what I aim for. I would recommend that gel pencil because it really does do a good job, and it does wear. And if I'm really needing longevity, then I use the gel in a pot that you get from MAC or wherever, and applied with a very small dome brush or anything, you know, like that, because that will stay. The Smoothliner pencil stays quite well, but I can also add just a little bit of eyeshadow powder to it. Why? Because powder will help seal oil or wax. It's the same with if you put a liquid or a cream on your face, you have to seal it with a powder in order for it to stay. Okay, so give that a try, Erin, and hopefully that will help you. And if it doesn't, let me know, and we'll look further. Okay, Janet Brown, love your hairstyle. Do you worry about your profile with your hair up? I miss my tight neck. Just wondering if anyone else worries about the jowls and the loose neck. Absolutely. But you know what? I don't worry about it. Do I have it? Judge for yourself. Of course I do. When I take a sip of coffee, look at this. Do I care? Hell no. Why? Because I'm where I am. I'm 72. I've lived quite a full life, and quite the hills and the valleys were quite extreme at times. This is all part of who I am now. But here's the trick I've noticed. When you've got your makeup on and your hair is styled nicely, people don't look at your chins, your jowls, or any of that. They're too caught up in the overall look. And that walking with aplomb, that sense of healthy confidence. That's what people look like or look at. If they're looking at your chins or any of the other features that you don't feel are your best, so to speak, then it's time to look at your overall presentation. I mean, I used to have a waistline, and I'm serious. I could put my two middle fingers and my thumbs together, and that would go around my waist. Seriously. That is so far in the past, it's not even funny. I mean, you know, along with my knowledge, so has my waistband expanded. You know, it is life. And I refuse to let propaganda lead my life. I will lead my life, thank you very much. And if people don't like me or find me offensive because my chins are fuller than they used to be, then they're really not the kind of people I want to hang out with or have coffee or have a conversation with. Does your hair... Now, do I try to make it look its best? Absolutely. Do I contour? Absolutely. Do I fluff out? I try to balance my hair out the back here so that it will balance with what's down here. Now, if I had that flat to my head, the movie Thelma and Louise, take a look at Susan Sarandon when she had her hair up in a French roll in the bar scene. One of the worst French rolls I've ever seen. Why? Because it was flat to her head. Like it was just flat to her head, and it made her look really strange. How do I counterbalance with my chins? I have a hair piece in here, like just one weft of a crown piece, and I'll turn around to show you. It's my classic, when I don't know what to do with my hair, up it goes and I know it will stay forever. I add that hair piece that gives the extra weight that's necessary to help balance out so I can get more fullness through here. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, Janet. Let's see. Let me see. Mariangela Hallday. How do you get the inside of your eyes bright? I have a lot of pigmentation, and good morning to all. Good question. And I've got this in other videos. This is my palette. I take this dome brush that's specific for this purpose, and I go into both the highlighter and the contour. And I go in and I push. This is hard to do in reversed imaging. You see how that brightens? And then I go along. Oh, it's hard to see. The top, and that brightens the eyes. I do that after I've got the contour on and got a little bit of weight at the end. I stand back, and does it need brightening? But I don't just brighten the lids, I brighten around, because most of us at this stage, ladies, I've noticed this in a lot of the thousands of make betters I've done over my life. What happens as we age is we do get darker in here. We put makeup on here. We tend to put it on our cheeks, but we forget about the upper lip and shaving it or getting rid of the hair before we put because I can't tell you the number of times I see a darker upper lip, and it's just because it's extra hair. This area around the eyes, ladies, is essential. We don't pay much attention to that, and we don't pay much attention to the center of the nose, because our nose is the thing that sticks out the most. and gets the elements hitting it the most. The sun hits it the most, and depending on your cheekbones, it will hit here as well, and your chin here as well. Those are the areas of the face that will tend to become darker as time goes on. Those are the areas you want to make sure you really cover, and especially in here. So it's just push the product in, push the product in. Some places you blend down like this, you apply it and you go down like this, and other places you cover and then you go back in and you push in, push in, push in. And I think that will help. You try that, and I bet you'll see a difference. Okay. Let's see, what have we got here? Aaron. Just love your practical help. Well, I'm glad you do, Aaron. That's great. Yvonne, hi Sharon. What about lower lashes? A bit of mascara or just a lighter eyeshadow as a liner? That's interesting. As time has been marching on, I think that the eyeshadow, is better than mascara on the lower lashes. Why? Because our lashes tend to be more in here as we age. We tend to lose the ones that are out at the ends or in the corners. We tend to maintain the ones in the center. So if you're just putting mascara for most, and this is again most, you're drawing attention there. I would rather not see it at all and draw the attention away to the side of the eye right here. This is where you want to put your weight. This is because we need to draw the eye back out, because as we age, the eyes become more rounded. So we want to draw them back out a little bit. And if you're putting mascara here, you're drawing the eye to focus. I hope that answers your question. Okay. And let's see. And our friend May says, thanks for the live stream and greetings to everyone. Absolutely greetings to everyone. And Sydney loves the topic today. Evelyn Weber, she's always here. Hi from Germany. Hello, Evelyn. Hope you are well. And Susan Odom, and let me see. Where else? Okay. Patty Cole. Let's see. Good morning. I am late. I can't wait to go back and see the start. Oh, good. Hope that's helpful. And you know what? I wasn't really sure what I was going to do today. I've got a number of subjects, but we're getting close to Christmas. And somebody said they'd like to see blending. Blending, it's not. And then I think, you know what? Because I'm a makeup artist, I don't necessarily always think about what may be difficult for people who aren't makeup artists. So I'm glad that that was suggested. Let's see. Joy Lambton, happy holidays. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you often in the new year. Happy holidays to all our friends here. Thank you, Loy. That's lovely. Yes, for sure. Let me see. Jorg, do you have a good trained singing voice? I mean, a big vibrato? Oh, that's interesting. Yes, well, actually, yeah, I can make my vibrato very narrow or very wide, depending. For those that don't know, on the channel, I have a playlist called The Voice of Your Choice. I used to teach voice to people, not singing, but the spoken voice. But I've sung in choirs and quartets and things all my life. That playlist is to help with people who need to have their accents adjusted, or how to make their voice stronger, fuller, richer, how to use character in their voices, for a variety of reasons, because with more visuals these days, we're more visual on the internet and that sort of thing. And those who do public speaking, whether it's for your volunteer friends or whatever, or it's reading stories to your grandchildren. When you have a well-developed voice, it makes a big difference in your presentations too, whatever those presentations are. And yeah, I think, actually, I'm going to share this story. I remember once we were in a studio. There was about 4 of us that were there to do voiceover for a cartoon for this new company. And I had one of my voice students as one of the talent. Well, I had to use an Aussie accent, and the others had, and one was one of the Looney Tune characters and that sort of thing. I cannot tell you, ladies, I have never laughed so hard in my life, and I've been blessed to have a number of times, where I've had some great laughter in my job. Even the crew behind the glass, none of us could look at each other, because as soon as we did, we'd be howling. I mean, even thinking about it makes me laugh, because it was probably one of the most fun times I've ever had in my life. And anything usually connected with the voice, for me, is fun. But I love doing character voices. There's something that I just really enjoy. So you must have seen my playlist on the voice of your choice. So if anybody's interested in improving the quality and the tone of their voice, give it a, it's there for you, free of charge. Okay, let me see. Samar Song. Any tips for those with oily eyelids? I always end up with a line of shadow. Yes, pack on the dual finish powder. Okay, push it in. You do that, and your eyeshadows will wear very well. And for moisturizer in the morning, make sure that your face has been cleaned of any oil, and only use a moisturizing lotion. When you use an oil of any kind, it's going to interfere. I don't care what makeup you put on. It's going to interfere. It's going to slide. It's not going to sit well. Things are going to go into the crease, that sort of thing. A lot of the concealers and things like that, what are they together, class? A cream, right? So, the formulations are much better these days, but still, I swear, if you just put the dual finish powder on, this makeup as an example, I put this on, probably 3 hours, maybe 4 hours ago, haven't touched a thing. Now, I can tell you, this would still look the same by 9 o'clock tonight, because I put it on properly to begin with. The only thing I would have to touch up is my lips on the inside here a bit. Maybe if I do a lot of crying or I have to blow my nose a lot, then I would have to touch up in here again. But I just use my finger, or a Kleenex, and just touch up with a little bit, and I'm good to go. When you apply it properly to begin with, and it should only take, once you're practiced and honed, it should only take 5 to 7 minutes to get you out the door looking fantastic and feeling great as a result. Then it should wear. So try that. Give it a little extra, on the eyelids, and see if that helps. And Cowboys needs that tiny dome brush. Okay, and Marilyn Poitra, thank you. I tuned in this AM to learn about brushes. You have helped me so much. Good. Question, how do you figure out the right dual powder color if you are ordering online? That's an excellent question. I know it's a bit difficult, but here's the thing. If you're going for the Barelle, the 30s, all the numbers in the 30s are the neutral to cool. All the numbers in the 40s are the neutral to warm. So I could go either cool or warm. I really could, and many people can. My coloring, if it helps you at all, this is number 31. Okay, and I use number 30 as a highlighter and 35 for my chinny chin chins. And you can see it, it's in the same color family as my body, but you can see a little bit, if you look really close, I have a little bit of yellow in my skin. Now my sister has a lot more. She wears 42, and because we're not sure who her father is, just joking. We swear she has some indigenous blood in her because her skin just tends to be dark. But she could wear the cool. I could wear the warm. So, and when you at the lower end of the numbers, like 30, 31, 32, that's the lighter shades. And then when you get up higher to 35, 36, 37, we start getting right into the darker shades. So it goes, that's how that works. Most colors, most people will wear 31 or 32 and 41 and 42. That's what most Caucasian people will wear. Now, for darker skins or caramel colors, for Indian skin or like East Indian skin, 20 and Asian, 29 is a wonderful yellow-based dual finish powder that mixed with maybe either 33, which is good for Mediterranean coloring, or maybe 43 mixed in with it. It works beautifully. And also the number 29, it's a yellow based. It's good if you want to do neutralizing and that sort of stuff, but we don't want to go there, do we? So that's how it works. So the 31, 32, 41, 42, 43 are the most popular colors. Now, if you phone Barelle, you can get the pans. You don't get the packaging. You can get the pans so you can put them in the palettes. And if you don't have the right color, if it doesn't turn out to be the right color, they will exchange it. If it's a little bit too light, save it for a highlighter. If it's too dark, save it for a contour. And with MAC, the same thing. You can call and you can speak to them. The NWs, I believe, are the pinker tones, and the NC. Oh, I don't know enough about the MAC coloring, so I'm not even going to go there. I just know the NWs are neutral to cool. But if you have trouble, again with a MAC, you can return it and exchange it. Okay, so I hope that helps your question there, Marilyn. And let's see. Yay, I caught a live one. Hello from Ireland. Wonderful. Lots of stuff going on there, eh? Found your channel recently and love. Thank you for all the great tips and techniques. You look fabulous. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it, and welcome from Ireland. And Donna Higgins, you were so great with your attitude. Well, thank you. It's an attitude that I've developed. Anybody who knows me and some of the advocacy work I do, you know that I don't go mainstream very often. I'm happy to go mainstream when it's right and it serves everybody, but not when it doesn't. So it's an attitude that I've developed, and you know how I've done it? Journaling. I know some of you don't want to hear that. I know it, but I have to tell you, journaling has saved my life, literally. Because I've found the gems in writing and knowing myself and writing and exploring and trying to figure out. I found the gems. And then I wrote about, okay, this is the direction I'm going to go in, and this is the attitude I'm going to wear. And you know what? Even to this day, when I get up in the morning, I think, what's my attitude going to be? What am I going to, do I want to get more on the humorous side? Do I need to be more serious today? Do I need to be, putting on the Darth Vader coat and unsheathing the sword? It's a decision to decide how to live and what kind of an attitude you're going to have. Okay, I won't let that soapbox go on too long. Let's see, Susan Odoms. If my selfies are lime, the world see me. I need to wear paper bag over my head. First of all, your selfies are just on your phone. You don't have to post them. And anybody who posts in the Going Gray and Loving It page, it's a closed page. But if you post in my beauty page, Sharon Downey Beauty, it's a public page. So no, selfies, but you know what? Selfies are like selfie shock and vocal shock and video shock. It's a term that was used in the industry. When you haven't seen yourself on video and then all of a sudden you think, My God, no, I can't. No, I don't want to look at that. It's called video shock because you see your reversed image. You see yourself the way the world sees you. And all this time you thought you looked this way when in fact you looked that way. Okay, so it's getting past that shock of it. A lot of the students I worked with vocal work, oh man, they had a hard time listening to their voice. How many people, right here on this live stream, don't really want to listen to their voice? It's because you're not used to hearing it. That's all. You're just not used to hearing it. But once you're used to hearing it, once you're used to seeing yourself with selfies, once you're used to seeing yourself on video, it becomes, it becomes second nature. It truly, truly does. So I'm going to encourage you, Susan, to keep taking them and keep taking them. If they're really, really bad, there's always the Together class delete button. But I encourage you to keep them and use them as a learning tool. Okay, Victoria Bell, your neck profile is pretty. Overall presentation, yes. So, well, I'll take that, Victoria. I'll take it. My neck used to be like this. See the difference? There's a product called Years Away for that very thing. And I swear sometime I might just do a demo on here just for the fun of it. And what it is elastic bands and tape. And you tape in Hollywood, they tape here, they tape here, they tape here, and they tape at the back of the neck. So watch this. If I were to pull the back of my neck, so have it really tight ponytail at the nape of your neck is an instant neck lift, okay? When you take your hair here and pull it here, watch if I were to pull it back, look what that does. So if you've got your neck going and you've got that going, you can do it. And of course up here, depending, you lift this up and look at, well, I'll take my glasses off so you can see. You lift this up. Do you know when you see some of the movie stars, Shirley MacLaine was one in Postcards from the Edge, and there's been a few others. When you wrap when you wash your hair and you wrap your hair in your towel and you bring it up, do you ever notice how your face is just a little bit more pulled? It's because the towel's pulling everything back. That's what they do in Hollywood. Believe me, believe me, believe me. Most of the movies you see, people are wearing wigs and hairpieces because everything's being taped up underneath. And then they put a wig on over top. Believe me. Take a look at My Cousin Vinny, the lawyer. Oh, his name escapes me right now. Anyway, there's a few scenes where his skin is so, you can see the fold in his skin where it's folded back, and the wig is put on over top, truthfully. Anyway, who has time for all that, right? Who has time nor inclination? And it's a not you presenting to people who want to be friends with a not you, right? I'd rather be a me and interact with people. Be a me the best I can, with what I've got, And yes, there's times and there's situations and there's certain things maybe that that might be necessary, but not if you've got a life with. And you're dealing with other things. You've got family, you've got business, you've got friends, you've got aging parents, or disabled children, or you've got a community that's in trouble or crisis or whatever. There's so many other things in life. Wondering about whether I should I put my tape on this morning or not? Not for me. I got too many other irons in the fire. Janet says, thanks for making me feel better about myself. No, I don't make you feel better. You make yourself feel better by just changing your perspective, truthfully. That I'm just putting up a roadmap and then you're doing the changing. Let's see, what other questions do we have? Me and my twin age 57, love your channel. Time is now. Thank you. Well, that's great. Okay, Susan. Why does any makeup make my wrinkles so much worse? I hope I love the powder I'm getting soon from MAC. Okay. all makeup, all makeup, all makeup will not hide your lines, your wrinkles, your pores. If you want to do special effects, which is going to take, a good hour in the morning, then fine, you can hide stuff for sure. You use years away, and like I just demonstrated, and other things. But for those who are living a realistic life and want to get out the door in a realistic time frame, you don't want to go there. You can see my wrinkles, you can see my lines, you can see my things, you can see more here. When you get up real close, and if anybody's that close, you want to put up a sign and say, back off. Nobody's going to be that close to you except an intimate, So nobody's going to be that close. But when you're looking in a magnifying mirror, say, I can see my wrinkles, I can see my wrinkles. Oh no, what am I going to do? This is not very good. Again, perspective management. And of course, we are inundated with anything that you can do to get rid of your wrinkles, lines, and pores. Do it, because your life is on the line for it. Such propaganda is nonsense. You're going to see your lines and wrinkles, but here's the thing. They will look softened and they will look cared for. There's the difference. They won't disappear, but they'll look softened and cared for. And anything that looks cared for, think about this, is compelling. People want to be around people who are caring. Okay, there's a whole psychology to this. So I hope that helps your question there. Okay, Victoria Bell, I don't understand the pushing makeup in with the brush. It's like, okay, if you were painting a wall, you have to go over it a couple of times depending on what the surface is like, right? So let's say it hasn't been primed, or it hasn't got a coat of something on it, or it's not smooth. You find that with the brush, you're going to have to push it in some places, right? Because the pores of the plaster or the gyprock, if it's old gyprock, won't it'll be a bit more porous. So you have to push the paint. You have to roll the paint in. It's like putting a roller on your face and pushing it in. It's the same idea. I hope that answers your question. Brenda Brooks, may I suggest that all ladies take time to play with their makeup? Absolutely, you may suggest. I would like to add to that they play with it in a correct way, with all the tips and tricks that you get on this channel and on the Facebook pages. It will help a lot. Donna Dawson, hi Sharon and all. Can you turn so we can see your lovely chignon? The red accessories look so cute. Okay, I'll do it again for you. Let me see. It's just a simple French roll. That's all that it is. And then I pinned it with 2 large roller pins. That's all that's in it. And then I stuck in a couple of chopsticks that I use for that purpose. Okay, Borg, I love classical voice and vocal folds and videos. I would like to watch inside your mouth while singing. Well, that's not going to happen. You're asking other questions, York. This is the wrong live stream for those questions, but you're welcome to ask them on the playlist somewhere. Okay. Becky C. Hi Sharon, I'm learning so much from you. Questions about the Barelle Dual Powder. Are there stores where I can find it for color matching? I spend my time in Washington. Unfortunately, Becky, no, there isn't. Here's the thing. Barelle is only a distributor. Audrey Morris is the manufacturer. Okay? It's the Audrey Morris product. Now, if I could find what other distributors carry the Audrey Morris product. Believe me, I'd be sharing it with you, but I can't. And it's an industry standard. You don't tell. You know, it's from a manufacturer's perspective. They don't let anybody know who they sell their product to because these distributors all package it, either repackage it their way, they name it and label it what they want, and they charge different prices. So that's why the manufacturer won't do that. But maybe sometime I will maybe revisit, running my own online thing with it, being a distributor for Audrey Morris. I don't know. But anyway, all you can do is what I suggested earlier. I'm sorry, I can't help you any more than that. That's all you can do. And if you go to a MAC counter, you can certainly test drive the stuff there. And if you're at the MAC counter, go with a clean face, from eyes down, clean face, and just try on the one side of your face, this area here, okay, the cheek and the jaw. Take a look. If it matches, great. If it's not, then the other side of your face is clear to try something a little lighter or a little darker. Once you have your color, though, you've got it. Okay? You've got it, and it's really simple from then on. Let's see, Jackie. I've adopted your makeup tips. Thank you. I now am out the door faster. Look better. Love the basic tools, and you help me through all the confusion of tons of brushes and concealers. Wonderful. That is wonderful to hear because that is the aim, and I'm really glad it's working for you. Diane Villeneuve, I have work a lot of red in my face. Do the 30s for it. Yeah, the 30s, it sounds like you could be rosacea that you have in your face, but I think if I remember seeing your face, you tend to be a little bit more on the cool side. So yeah, the 30s should do it just fine. Let's see, Diane again. Sorry about the wrong words. My question is, my face has a lot of red forehead, nose, chin, and I am also fair. Are the 30s good for it? Yeah, it should be fine. And again, you're going to have to test whether it's 31, 32, And remember, if you've got red, it's like that one I did for Marcella, xanthalasma and other things. If you've got redness, you can cover it. You don't have to have special stuff. That's what, because this is a powder foundation. So let's see. Samar, I have, with downturned eyes, do you still concentrate the under eye and above eye liner at the ends or stop short? I'm not really sure, but I would still go straight out. I'd have to see the eye, and I don't. If that's your profile picture, Samar, I wouldn't think that that's an issue for you. I wouldn't start. No, just go as far as if you've got skin coming down over top, then you don't want to go. When you're like this, your skin isn't showing, but then when you close it, it comes down over top. You don't want to do that. I'm only talking a very little bit going out, okay? So try that and see if that works. I hope I answered your question okay. Mary Angela, when you journal, do you just do stream? I think what you mean is, do I just let go? Yeah, I don't worry about paragraphs or sentences, structure, spelling, none of that stuff. I just write. If I'm dealing with a difficult thing, I let it all out, and I let it all out there, and then I start to see, okay, now that's what's really bothering me, and I get it all out. What's really bothering me? Okay, what can I do about it? And list all the things that I can do, and then list what do I want to do, and and I usually find my way through it that way. Janet, what do you do with receding hairline and thinning hair? You can use, depending on your hair color, you can use eyeshadow to cover in. You can use Topic, which is a great product. It grabs hold of the Phelia's hairs, and it's like a fiber that sticks to the little hairs and helps to make it look thicker. You can, with the receding hairline, you can. In fact, that's something I was thinking about doing, because I used to, when my hair was brunette, I used to cover in along my, let me see, which is the best. I used to go along my hairline and just make it stronger, right through here and up through here. But with my gray hair, I haven't done that, because if I can't quite figure out whether to use the light gray or whether to use a darker gray. It's something I have to experiment with, but it hasn't been top of my list of concerns. But those are a couple of things you can do. If your hair is very thin, extensions. And wearing your hair longer with a scrunchie or any number of updos makes your hair look a little bit thicker. Also, extensions and scrunchies are a good way to go. And toppers. The current toppers that are on the market these days are quite wonderful, and I highly recommend a synthetic topper, because they usually have a memory curl in them or a memory shaping in them, and when you wash them, shampoo them, you just shake them out, let them sit, and they're good to go. You don't have to curl, you don't have to do anything. Some of the toppers they have today are amazing. So those are all alternatives for you. Okay, so I think that's about it as far as the questions are concerned. Now, just a reminder that if I haven't answered your questions, take a look on the YouTube channel. Write in what you'd want, what you're searching for, and you can find it, or turn to the playlist, click on the playlist, and then they will all come up, and click on whatever category it is that you're looking for, and you should be able to find it. So, and if you are if you're not subscribed to this channel, please do. There's the channel name, 2 Minute Tips. And if you're interested in any of the advocacy work that I do, Sharon Downley Advocacy is right there for you. And please like, share, and subscribe. I am not monetized. I gain no benefit. I make no money. This is Skillshare, paying it forward. Giving back to society is what I'm all about, okay? So if you can share with your friends, because when you're not monetized, YouTube doesn't, put you out there, so to speak. Now, on my public page is Sharon Downley Beauty if you want to join me on Facebook. And if you want to be in a closed group where women are talking about aging and going gray, then please, there's the link for that. And for a pay it forward make better on either channel, just join and request one. And the idea with the pay it forward is you give either your time, talent, or treasure to a person or group in need in your corner of the world in honor of my daughter, Andrea Main, so that we just keep sharing. I think, there's so much greed going on in this world. I'm sure we're all feeling it. Just giving to give without expectation, I think is, we need a little bit more of that. Okay, off that soapbox. Now, today's quote is, beautiful young people are accidents of nature, but beautiful old people are works of art, by Eleanor Roosevelt. Okay, ladies, well, thank you for joining me today. It was a pleasure to be with you. And remember, that the older we get, the best aim is to use classic colors, corrected and defined lines, and blended and balanced weight. Okay? This channel's aim is to illuminate the importance of simplicity, strength, style, and working all those things together, and a well-honed relationship with yourself based on love and logic. Grace is just naturally going to come through. Have a wonderful balance of the day and weekend, and don't get too caught up in the shopping frenzy. And next week, I'm putting out a video on some holiday red lipsticks that you've probably already got in your Maybelline Superstay 24-hour arsenal. We'll see you then. Mwah!